The facts matter.
Hey everybody, Virgo here. I was just going over the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus Sharon Gale from back in November 19th of 2019. I think you'll find this particular transcript rather interesting, although I have to say I am fully aware that my edits in this are absolutely hideous. But they're absolutely no worse than the official transcript itself. I promise you, everything in the actual video was said in the transcript. Yes, I'm aware at times that there are bad edits. Every once in a while, Sharon begins to look like a chipmunk. But I have to say still, the actual real transcript is even scarier than the edits. Guys, there are several of these that are going to be coming out over the next few days. Strap in. It's pretty funny. Take care, you guys. I hope you enjoy.
Hear ye, in the Court of Common Pleas of Delaware County, Pennsylvania, Criminal Division, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus Sharon Gale, number 0002275, 2019, and 0006174, 2019. Courtroom 2. Judge G. Michael Green. Heather Hayes, Esquire for the Commonwealth, and pro se for the defendant, SharonTracey Gale. Gale, you want to come up?
Your Honor, this is the matter of Sharon Gale, 2275-19 and 6174-19. Defendant is present in the courtroom, refusing to come up to the bar of the court. We are scheduled today for a pretrial conference and for a trial date.
Sharon Gale.
I am Sharon Akasha, solo and something, at all times and at all places in time. I am a descendant of the great pharaohs of something. I am the law, I am the government, and I can make you state your name and nationality.
You are a government?
And no further comment.
Did you say you're a government?
I can make you state your name and nationality for the record without further comment.
Ma'am, I received a correspondence. Is this your correspondence? It indicates that Moorish American consuls, Moorish worldwide consuls, Consul General Taj Tariq Bey. I'm not really sure what all this is. It says SharonTracey Gale Bey, a sovereign moomin, only capacity as beneficiary to the original jurisdiction. I'm not sure what all this is. Could you explain it to me?
Just reading.
It doesn't make sense to me, and I was hoping that you could explain it.
It's telling you to release me because you don't have jurisdiction, and it's Allodial's sovereign bond commanding you to release me because you don't have jurisdiction, and that's the purpose of the liens, that this corporation has been, that everybody in this room is affected by it because of your breach of your constitutional rules. You can smirk, but you know exactly what I'm talking about.
It says Moorish sovereign, and apparently it wants some kind of payment in Moorish sovereign delirium.
It says it. Read it. It says it. If you read all the documents that we filed, you would know.
I don't know what that is. 166 Moorish sovereign delirium in gold coinage?
It's the only lawful currency here in northwest of Amexem.
And where do I find it? Where do I find those or that currency?
Sitting in your hands. You know, Federal Reserve notes.
Is there a rate of exchange if I use American currency?
That's the only rate of exchange. That's the only lawful currency, and you know this because you know Federal Reserve notes by law is not commencing or money, and you're aware of that as well.
Alright, I'm going to order a competency evaluation of Miss Gale.
I decline that. I do not consent to anything. You don't have jurisdiction.
I'm going to ask for a competency evaluation to see if she's competent to even stand trial.
I waive all in these cases because you don't have jurisdiction.
And I'm going to appoint counsel for her.
You're not going to appoint anything because I have rights and they're under the Constitution you took an oath to. Read it.
The Constitution of the United States?
The Constitution for the United States of America, 1791. I'm not a ma'am. I'm you Sharon, Akasha, L. Rose Bay, in proprio at all times.
You understand that you have a right to be represented by counsel today.
I understand I have constitutional rights you're violating at this moment by continuing to act as if you have jurisdiction over.
If you cannot afford counsel, one will be appointed for you free of charge through the county of Delaware. And it's my understanding, ma'am, that you wish to give up your right to be represented by an attorney, and you wish to represent yourself in this case. Is that true? Is that accurate?
Am ye Sharon, Akasha, L. Rose Bay, something. I am descendant of the great pharaohs of something and the Canaanites. I am the law, and I am the government.
How old are you, ma'am?
Because I am sovereign, the only sovereign sitting here in this room. It's not miss. You keep calling me outside of my status and title, and you won't get any answers. You are because you all the documentation that's been filed. Read it and get competent in the law.
All right. You're refusing to tell me your age. How far did you go in school? Did you graduate from high school? Do you have any college education?
I am SharonTracey GaleBey, Moorish American National, improprio, and something. At all times and at all place I in time. I am the law, and I am the government, which you know because based on the Declaration of Independence, the Articles of Confederation, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, and the Constitution for the United States of America is the only government that sanctions any identified European, which you are to do anything here at Northwest Amexem, Morocco, which you think or you identify as the United States.
Are you saying, oh, so this is Morocco and not the United States?
You heard exactly what I said.
All right. Are you suffering from any physical, mental, or emotional problems which might affect your ability to understand everything that is said here?
I stand under no corporation. I stand for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice under the Moroccan Empire, the Moorish National, and public federal government in mortuary consult that gave you your commands and your orders that you are obligated and duty-bound and oath-bound to effectuate.
Are you now under the influence of any narcotic, drug, alcohol, or other intoxicants that would keep you or make it impossible or difficult for you to understand what is happening here today? Are you in good health? Do you take any medications? Have you ever been assessed or evaluated for mental health issues? Have you ever been admitted to an inpatient health facility? No answer. Have you ever been a defendant in a criminal trial in any other case? No answer. And have you ever represented yourself in a criminal trial in any other case? No answer. Do you understand that you have the right to be represented by an attorney, and if you cannot afford an attorney, one would be appointed for you and provided for you free of charge at no cost or expense to you? No answer. Do you understand that you are charged with the following crimes? Would you please read the indictment information, Miss Hayes?
On Petition 2275-19, the defendant is charged with risking catastrophe, a felony of the 3rd degree, 3 counts of recklessly endangering another person, misdemeanors of the 2nd degree, 3 counts of endangering the welfare of children, felonies of the 3rd degree, 3 counts of conspiring and endangering the welfare of children, felonies of the 3rd degree, conspiracy to risking catastrophe, a felony of the 3rd degree, reckless conspiracy to recklessly endanger another person, a misdemeanor of the 2nd 3 counts of conspiracy to recklessly endangering another person, misdemeanors of the second degree. On indictment 617419, the defendant is charged with defiant trespass, actual communication to the actor, a misdemeanor of the third degree.
Do you understand the charges against you?
I am SharonTracey GaleBey, a Moorish American national, in proprio something, at all times and all places in time. I am a descendant of the great pharaohs of something and the Canaanites. I am the law, I am the government, and I command you to state your name and nationality for the record on the record without further comment. No United States citizen has jurisdiction over any Moorish American nationalist. You are commanded to set me free. Return my property and cease and desist all actions against me. Notice to agents and notice to principals. Notice to principals. Notice to agent. If you do not do as commanded and set me free, you will be blamed for your unlawful activities and your violations of your oath and your duty to the Constitution for the United States of America, 1791.
Will the district attorney please state the maximum sentences for the charges in the informations?
For causing risk and catastrophe, the maximum sentence is 84 months incarceration, 42 to 84 months. For conspiracy to the endangering the welfare of children, a felony in the third degree, 42 to 84 months. For causing and risking conspiracy to causing and risking catastrophe, a felony in the third degree, 42 to 84 months. For recklessly endangering another person, 12 to 24 months, and endangering the welfare of children, 42 to 84 months. The standard ranges for the felony threes are RS-23, for causing risk and catastrophe. For conspiracy to endangering the welfare of children, 3 to 12 months. For causing risking catastrophe, RS-23. For recklessly endangering another person, RS-21.
It's important that Miss Gale know that these charges may be run concurrently or consecutively. Consecutively meaning that one would start after the other had finished. So it would extend the time of the sentence. Miss Gale, do you understand that there may be possible defenses which you may have to these charges which you may not be aware of, such as mistaken identity, alibi, insanity, diminished capacity, self-defense, as well as other lawful excuses or defenses? There are certain requirements and rules you must be aware of and allow in order to present these defenses. If these defenses are not raised by you at the proper time, they will be lost by you permanently. No answer.
I am SharonTracey GaleBey, a Moorish American national, in something at all times, and at all points in time.
Do you understand that in addition to possible defenses which you may have, you have many other rights that if you do not exercise or are not exercised by you at the proper time will be lost by you permanently?
If you do not do as I commanded and set me free, you will be charged, and you will be indicted for violating the oaths and bonds and the authority that was wielded to you based on the Constitution for the United States of America. So, by Amendment 9, no state statute, law, or coordinates, or code that violates the Constitution for the United States of America is withstanding. It's void on its face, void on its face.
Thank you. Now, your rights with respect to these errors or mistakes or improprieties will be lost to you permanently if not exercised at the proper time. Do you understand that if you give up your rights to be represented by an attorney, you will still be bound by all the rules and procedures and evidence?
I am bound by no rule.
and that an attorney would be familiar with these rules of procedure and evidence. Do you understand that a defendant pro se will not be allowed to complain on appeal about the competency of their own representation? A pro se defendant must be aware of the risks involved in comporting with the rules of the court, rules of evidence, your constitutional rights, your right not to testify and be subject to sanctions, including contempt of court if you fail to conduct yourself properly. Do you understand that you will be bound by all the rules of procedure and evidence during all of the proceedings in which you represent yourself, including pretrial, trial, post-trial, and appeal stages? Do you understand that among the advantages of being represented by counsel is counsel's familiarity with the following procedures: pretrial motions, including discovery, challenges to the criminal informations filed in this case, and motions to quash those informations, protecting your right to a speedy trial, selecting a jury and being aware of juror qualifications, examining witnesses and cross-examining witnesses called by the Commonwealth that are against you, challenging the admissibility of any evidence presented against you, presenting witnesses for you, and compelling their attendance at trial as well, examining these witnesses and presenting other evidence, arguing the facts and evidence of the jury to the jury, arguing the law and evidence to the judge, researching the law, and finally memos of law, legal briefs, motions, and appeals in the event of conviction, arguing the circumstances, facts, and law, and the presentation of witnesses in mitigation of sentence, and finally presenting and arguing motions for a new trial or a judgment of acquittal, whether you should testify at the pretrial proceedings or at the trial, and finally negotiating a non-trial disposition with the Commonwealth. Have any threats or promises been made to you which would induce you to give up your rights to an attorney? No answer.
I'm not incarcerated. I'm here.
To properly represent yourself, that if you were not incarcerated. No answer. Do you understand that given the seriousness of the charges, the complexity of the volume of the issues in this case, the potential penalties for which the crimes charged, and the fact that you are incarcerated, I strongly advise you that it would be in your best interest to have an attorney represent you? No answer. Do you understand that if I grant your request to permit you to give up your right to an attorney and represent yourself, you may withdraw or take back your request to represent yourself and have an attorney represent you at any time? No answer to that question. Do you understand that if you wish to withdraw your request to represent yourself and have an attorney represent you, you should advise me immediately, and I will see to it that the attorney assumes your defense? No answer to that question. The effectiveness of your defense may well be diminished by your dual roles as an attorney and as the accused. Do you understand the danger and disadvantages of self-representation? No answer to that question. Do you understand that I strongly advise you that it would be in your best interest to have an attorney represent you? No answer to that question. In light of what I've told you, do you still wish to give up your right to have an attorney represent you and represent yourself? No answer to that question. Do you have any questions of this court at this time? No answer to that question. I will allow Miss Gale to proceed pro se, and I will appoint backup counsel for her to aid her in her self-defense. I'm going to appoint William Davis, Jr., Esquire.
And William Davis, Jr., this is notice of intent to lien. William Daniel Davis, Jr., this is an intent to lien.
He'll be backup counsel for...
I don't have to answer that.
So if you have any questions of law, or you have any issues with regards to what's happening, you can discuss that with him, although he will not be your actual trial counsel until you say he can be your actual trial counsel. Alright, I've ordered a competency evaluation, and I will schedule a trial date. We're going to schedule the trial date for February the 10th. It will be the backup trial to Rashid Muhammad, also scheduled for that date. I am scheduling an interim status hearing for purposes of reviewing the results of the psychological competency evaluation. That will be January the 7th, all right? Do you want to prepare the notices, please, clerk?
SharonTracey GaleBey, in proprio, something, at all times, and at all places. I was here, and threatened by coercion, and not present.
Thank you, ma'am.